Hello, and welcome to another episode of Houston Moms on the Move. This is a Houston Moms produced special just for you to feel inspired, encouraged by moms in Houston who are moving in big ways in their work life and in their family life. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Haley Hernandez. She is a reporter, health reporter with KPRC, and also co-hosts KPRC Plus. You can see her daytime. I'm sure she can tell us more all about that. Haley, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Megan, thank you for having me. I'm a big fan of yours. I love this podcast, so I'm really happy to be here.
So fun. Okay, what I love is that you are a Houston native, right?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Clear Lake. Some people consider that Houston. I grew a little south side, grew up in Clear Lake, moved around for the job, moved back here in 2014, and I've been working with KPRC ever since then.
Okay, and you have two kiddos?
I do. I have two boys, 4 and 5 years old. So there's a lot of energy at my house. There's a lot of physical fitness going on, if you will, every day,
Yes.
trying to keep up with them.
Yeah, there's a lot of flipping over couches and things
Yes.
that are happening.
Dragging people off of bookshelves. The other day, my 4 year old was like, I heard him in another room. He said, hang on, I'm just going to stick this in your ear. It's only a pencil. So, I'm like running over furniture. Stop what you're doing. So that's a day in the life. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then you have your actual day job at KPRC as a health reporter. What do those hours look like for you?
So I go in super early in the morning. So I'm leaving my house at like 4:35 in the morning, which I do enjoy because that means I get off a little bit earlier. So I'm still able to do like after school pickup for my son. And, we can go do swim lessons and do the haircuts and things like that. So I have my afternoons with them. So that's really precious to me. And I really enjoy that. But yeah, I think only other moms can appreciate that. Like, I've got two full-time jobs here. Like I'm going to my job that I get paid for, and then I go home and I work just as hard for a job that doesn't pay me very well.
Oh, it pays well, I guess, in like kisses and hugs
Of
and
course.
all of
Yeah.
those things. But
Of
yes, it
course. Yeah.
is. Oh my gosh. So hard, especially when they were younger. We were talking earlier off screen, and I'm like, man, if I don't want to be that mom that says, like, just wait until
Yeah.
they're teenagers. But like, I just want you to soak in this sweet time with your 4 and 5 year olds. But
Yeah.
obviously, it was such a demanding job. How are you balancing, working, going, doing live TV, you're talking to people all day, you're stimulated, I imagine, all day.
Yeah.
And then you come home and you're stimulated again because you have this kiddos at home. What does balance
Oh
look
my
like
God.
for you?
Um, like it feels good for you to even just like acknowledge that that's what it is. Like I feel like overstimulated a lot of time because it's so like just hands on with the kids. And then my job is so deadline oriented and, it's high stress job. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm the mom that feels like touched out at the end of the day,
Mm.
like I've had enough. So I feel it does feel good for you to just acknowledge that like I do a lot more than, the 2 minutes that you see me on TV every day. It's a job that's more like round the clock than that. Um, but yeah, I have to find ways to just like connect with my kids and do things with them that are also bring me joy, so that I don't feel burned out because that's an easy thing to feel, right? It's an easy thing to feel burned out as a mom. It's an easy thing to feel burned out at your job. And so I've got to do things and we have to find ways that we can play together because I don't get a lot of me time. And so we have to kind of like find those things that are kind of fun for us all to decompress and to enjoy.
So I kind of think about you like when you're driving like to the studio that morning or like coming home, like do you have a playlist? Like I feel like that can be like some decompressed time.
Well, it's podcasts. I loved like podcasts are my number one. Love to listen to those and audiobooks. So I like just like listening to somebody else just kind of tell me a story and feeling like I'm like included in like a friend's conversation through the podcast,
Mm.
so that
Yeah.
I can just kind of um just like what's the word I'm looking for? Not like
Reset.
recover, but yeah, reset. Yeah.
A reset.
Yeah.
We all need those resets. And I think I get jealous a little bit of my husband because most days he commutes and I don't like get the commute time. So it's like, what does that look like? Like I wish I had it. So I'm a little jealous. But
Oh,
I'm
girl, not many people are jealous about us sitting in Houston traffic.
no,
But I know what you
no.
mean. No, I know what you mean. And
That's fair.
yeah, totally.
No, every time I go into town, if you will, I'm like, oh gosh, I love Houston. I love Houston. I love Houston. I have to remind myself that I really do love
Yeah.
Houston, but it is a bear.
Yeah.
It is a bear.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
And
For
so,
sure.
speaking of Houston, you are the health reporter, KPRC. You're talking about all things Houstonian and then specifically about health. And you are very passionate on the mental health side. Tell us a little bit about that and where that started.
Yeah, gosh, it's interesting to remember like where exactly it started, but it was definitely because it's mental health is such a buzzword right now. I mean, like the best thing that the pandemic did for all of us was just to shine light that we all have mental health. I mean, like people were in
Ah,
denial of having a whole part of their body that needed care. I mean, we all have mental health, but and I'm not even saying this because I'm on your podcast, but once I became a mom, the light bulb really goes off that like we have to take care of that mental health and preserve it.
mhm.
Because I mean, like, I think that the numbers about postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety are a lie. I think everybody experiences a little bit of it sometimes, maybe not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like a big majority
Yeah.
of people, once you start to really talk to moms, like there's so much loneliness and isolation in that beginning phase. And then we're in this generation of parenting where the kids have it too. The kids have anxiety and depression. And we're recognizing that. And we're recognizing that it's a problem and our society isn't helping with this problem, with social media and all the things that we could go down a rabbit hole on. But like it just became so obvious to me when I became a mom that mental health is so important, and having that support system is so important. And honestly, we just don't have the village that we need. I don't think anybody does. Like we have family close by, but like how much can you ask of your family? Like most people don't have that much family to rely on all the time. And when you do, you're so lucky. And that's where I get jealous, right? Like I get jealous of people who are like, oh yeah, they got both sides of the family. They've got aunts and uncles. They all just like share children. And I get super jealous of that because my mom helps us a lot and I love that and I acknowledge that. But like, there's only so much that one person can do.
Yeah. No, I'm grateful you brought that up because I think that's where I felt really lonely when I had. So, for listeners who don't know, I have twin, almost 15-year-olds, and I, I don't know if I was just clueless or delirious or all of the above. Um, but I just remember sitting in that and feeling so incredibly lonely, and that's kind
Yeah.
of how blogging sort of started for me because it was like, oh, I'm not alone. Like there was a
Right.
community of people who were talking about it. Um, but then I was also very much a control freak, and I admit it. I am a type A, Enneagram 3. I will my spreadsheet will kill your spreadsheet. Kind of
You tried to take on too much.
well, and then apparently as I found out later, which is kind of sad that I sort of like pushed away my mother and my mother-in-law.
Oh,
They felt like they couldn't help, even though they still were not living in our city. There wasn't like day-to-day help, but They're like, you didn't make it easy for us to help. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't, like I didn't, maybe at that time I didn't know what help I needed. So I do love now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And, that people can, go to their doctor and say, like, hey, I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
Or they feel more comfortable about speaking out in online communities or finding their crew.
And maybe young moms do push help away sometimes, but it's probably because we are told this is supposed to be the happiest, most joyful time of our life. And I think our generation's doing a good job of shining light on like, you can love the death out of your kids, but like it's not going to be joyful every moment of the day. And so those two things can be true, right? You
Yes.
can you can be you can have joy for your children and not feel joyful. And so sometimes you wanted to like hide those feelings by saying like, oh,
Mhm.
I got it, I love him so much, this is great. And then people are like, well, I guess she's got it all under control. But
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to ask for help, and it's hard to do it all at the same time.
Exactly. It's that both and situation that can, really, kick you in the pants. And then we were kind of meant to like be this like pick up by the bootstraps.
For
Um,
sure. Yeah.
just do the thing. Um, keep the kids alive, but we've neglected ourselves a little bit. So how do you make sure consciously not to neglect yourself? What does that look like?
Well, I mean, I think I had to relearn that, like I had to relearn how to not neglect myself. I mean, during COVID, I had, a 7 month old and was boom, pregnant with my second. They're only a year apart, and
Hmm.
so like I was pregnant, I had a baby. I was like the most important reporter at my station at the time because there was a global pandemic happening. I mean, I was really weighted down. And I was even like doing an interview with a therapist one time about like, how do we like act normal in our new normal. Remember when we used to say that during the
Yeah.
pandemic? And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, you got to, she just turned the questions on me. She was like, well, what are you doing? She was like, are you eating on time? Are you going out for a walk? And I was like, God, no, who has time for these things, And she was like,
Yeah.
well, that's the first sign that you're slipping. When you're not sticking to your routine, when you're not taking time to be out in the sun, to be giving yourself exercise, we're all
Mhm.
fragile little houseplants. So we have to baby
Yeah.
ourselves, we have to parent ourselves and give us water every single day. You got to drink your water.
Yeah.
And so when we are not doing that, then we're slipping in the wrong direction. And so I just have had to, I had to learn that. I had to learn that from probably a not so great place.
Mm.
And now just make an effort. And it doesn't always feel good and convenient to do those things, but you kind of know that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I
the
mean?
water thing is really important. Um, like that made me giggle because I had a Friday, it was like a celebration day for eighth grade for my twins. Um, we picked the basketball station. So we picked a basketball thinking we're going to be like inside, that this is cool.
Yeah.
My team and I got put out outside in the blazing sun
On a
for about,
blacktop in Houston.
yeah, for 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And they came around with the water. And and I took down 2 bottles of water. I was like, that's probably the most water I've had all week. How sad is that?
Yeah.
Like, and so we
Well,
just have to do the little things.
yeah. Well, women do that to ourselves, right? Like, I mean, somebody will ask you, how often do you emotionally neglect yourself? And you'll be like, oh, I prioritize my emotions now, and I'm much more in tune with this. Like as a society, we're getting there. But like, how often do you ignore that you just have to go to the bathroom? Because it's like you don't have time to go to the bathroom. That's in no way taking care of yourself. I mean, like we work through lunch, we don't go to the bathroom, we don't give ourselves water. These are basic needs, but we're putting everybody else's needs first.
And I think that's the crux. And I don't know. And like I feel like sometimes when we say that, it feels like we're like the martyr or we're trying to be a martyr, and it's not. I just think that the first thing when I wake up is not about myself.
Yeah.
It's about everyone else. And that can be a really tough place to live.
Yeah.
Um, where, you may, I mean, this is hypothetically speaking, find yourself in the garage sobbing on a Sunday night. I'm just saying, it may
Speaking on behalf of a friend.
like that could have happened to a friend of mine.
Mhm.
But we're just like, how am I doing this?
Because we're human and we all have a breaking point, right? So we've got to interrupt these thoughts that are building to that breaking point more often. Those thoughts that are telling yourself, I can't do that. I have to do this. I have to do this. You don't have to. Like you have to stop that cycle of thinking, you know?
Which, kind of brings up my next point is, obviously your kiddos are a little bit younger. Mine are a little bit older. And so they can kind of understand what mom does or, what mom's, you know, responsibilities are, whatever that looks like. How do you talk to them about what you do? Like if you have to miss something because you're on
Mhm.
air or, there's a breaking news and it's just how do you involve them in this process and conversation and dialogue with them?
That's such a good question because my kids are at an age where they don't understand and it's heartbreaking, like the snow day. My husband got to stay home on the snow day in January and go out and they, got to play on the snowboard and go down the hill at um, whatever Memorial Park, I can't remember. But I had to miss that. And I was already at work and we FaceTime and I tell them like, oh, mommy's working and I wish I could be with you. Like I don't hide that like it's not like I have to do this and that's the way it is. Like I do explain to them like I want to be with you and I love you so much. And this makes
Mhm.
mommy sad when I can't be with you. So I try to be honest with them about that, but they are at an age where it doesn't quite make sense yet. And we try to point out like, oh, like, we can eat at this restaurant because mommy and daddy have to go to work and this is how we pay for it. And it's also, we find like we try to, and we're not good at this, but we try to remember to like pay with cash so that kids can see like the physical transaction because
Yeah.
money is imaginary to kids now. Like you swipe a credit card, they don't see what's happening. So me and my husband are trying to remember to do that. Like, see, like this is when you pay, this is what it looks like, so that they can kind of understand why we go to work. But my kids, they don't understand. And even yesterday, my son was like, "So you go to the news and you talk on the news?" And I said, "Yeah." Because they see clips of me sometimes, but we don't let
Yeah.
them like obviously sit there and watch the whole thing because of the content that's on the news is not
Yeah.
appropriate for their age. But yesterday he's like, "So you talk on the news?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "And they pay you for that?" I was like, "Oh." My biggest heckler coming from my 5-year-old. I was like, yes. I said, well, I'm providing a service. I was trying to explain to him. It
That's
is
so
some
awesome.
people find it valuable.
There are a lot of news lovers out there. That I mean, from the mouths of babes, right?
I
Like,
know, but he's just his wheels are turning. He's
yeah,
trying to figure it out because it's also so sad that I have to wake up so early that they're not up yet. So in their
yeah.
minds, like they don't know at what point in the night I'm leaving. And so when they're going to bed at night, they're asking me, who's going to be here in the morning? Like, is it mommy? Is it daddy? Or is it their babysitter? And so that's something that they're kind of like they're old enough now to know like who is going to be there in the morning, but when they
Mhm.
were babies bedtime was really vicious because they were very confused on is this where mommy leaves.
Oh,
It's been tough, it's been really tough, but that's my biggest thing is we just have to I'm honest with them. I'm like, I wish I didn't have to. Weekends are so fun and we always have the best weekends as a family. So I try to just remind them of that.
yeah. But I mean, and I think every mom probably, especially working moms, can relate to that. It's just like
Mhm.
we can only do so much, man. And
Yeah.
honesty being the best policy. I love the cash idea. By the way, like
Yeah.
that's what we do for um although I think we're about to head into debit card territory, but they have always their allowance as cash. Um,
Good. Yeah.
because cash is, I don't know, maybe it's the 45-year-old in me, but not that I carry a lot of cash on me, but there is I wanted them to have that sense of pride that they earned this money from their allowance. They took it to Target. They looked the cashier in the eye and gave them
Yeah.
their $30 or whatever for an overpriced Barbie and a handful of sour
Yeah.
straws or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I think that socialization is also important too. Just
Ah,
that interaction with a cashier, because they're
yeah,
losing that in this generation
ah,
where you order an Amazon order off your phone and it gets there this afternoon. Like that's an invisible transaction to them. And they're
yeah.
losing the ability to talk to a stranger at a store. I mean, there's no scientific data on this. This is just, us like chit
Anecdotal,
chatting.
but yes, I subscribe.
Exactly. So yeah, so it's important to me to try to like foresee where that could be an issue and try
Ah,
to kind of nix it now.
I think it's so smart. I think being able to talk to a server at a restaurant.
Mhm.
You're going to order your meal. Mom's not going to do it for you.
Yeah.
If you don't want onions, like tell them you don't want onions, and we're going to make this like a very specific transaction. And I'm proud. Like I think eye contact and handshakes and things that I feel like sometimes have gotten lost in
Yes.
translation a bit, especially to your point earlier about COVID. Um,
Yes.
so much of that was lost that I think, and I think it's super important. We need to be
Yeah.
able to interact with people in the public. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
our work is not all done over social media or LinkedIn or whatever. Obviously, given your job of talking to people for a
Yeah.
living. So,
Yeah.
like, we have to keep those skills up.
Yeah. And I mean, like these are all COVID babies, right? Like there's
Oh,
not even like the data out yet to show like what those years of isolation did to them. We were told at the time, right? Like mine were babies, yours were what, 10 years old. And we
mhm.
were told at the time, like, oh, the kids are resilient, they'll be fine. But yeah, that like they like maybe like they don't have that skill set to interact with strangers in public now, I mean, so there's going to be a lot that's revealed about what happened to the kids who were in their critical socializing years.
Yeah. I know. It's like I want to know, but I don't want to know.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, but I do. I mean, in thinking back to that time, and it's always this time of year, right, when all those memories on Facebook are coming back out for,
Yeah.
like being like, and
Because it
what?
was 5 years ago when things started to shut down.
Yeah. So what was life then? I mean,
Weird.
it's just,
Tiger King.
oh my gosh.
Things got weird for a little while.
Things are just I was the Easter bunny, because we had a costume for Houston moms, and no one in our neighborhood could go anywhere for Easter, and everyone was very sad. And so I put on the Easter bunny costume, and I texted all my neighbors, and I walked around in the Easter bunny costume. We were all 6 feet
Like,
safely.
if
Plus, I was an
anybody wants
Easter bunny.
pictures, Easter
I
bunnies on our
did.
street.
I did. I took all the pictures. I mean,
Oh
it
my
was
God, I
just
love that.
such a random time. Um, okay. I don't want to take too much of your time up, but we do have some rapid fire questions if you're
Okay.
game for it.
Yeah, for sure. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Fire.
Um,
Think clearly.
so favorite family friendly restaurant in Houston?
Mia's.
You
I
are the
can
second person to say that.
Oh, I mean, you can easily convince kids to go where there's free ice cream. So they
Yeah,
like they get in the car willingly. They eat the food there. They sit happily because they're about to get their ice cream. It's all good. Mia's is good.
that's perfect. Rashi from Fox 26 said the same thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was her favorite. Ice cream is a huge draw. We went to Jason's Deli
Yeah.
for, I mean, we still do just because they have, the ice cream.
Oh yeah, yeah, we do. Yeah, Jason's Deli's another one that we frequent. Yes.
Oh, Jimmy Jimmy Chongas. They also have free ice cream. So,
Good to know.
yes. So
I'll put it
note
on
to
my
the
list.
restaurants out there in Houston, just give us some soft serve and we
Yeah.
will bring our kids to you.
Put that machine right up front where we can see it.
Yes.
We will give you our business.
Take our money, our cash money.
Yeah.
Take our money. So favorite meal to make that everyone likes. This is the meal that, like you need your go-to that you just don't have to like worry about somebody like spitting it in the trash can.
That the grown-ups will eat too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Tortilla soup. Everybody in my family will eat tortilla soup.
Okay.
And I make it super easy. I mean, like I just put like chicken and broth and vegetables and spices in a bowl. It like takes like 30 minutes. It's really quick.
Do you do it in a slow cooker or do you do it on
No, on the stove? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And my kids will actually eat it. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Well, tell me you're a Houstonian without telling me you're a Houstonian. Like, it's like, and that's so funny too. Gosh, Catherine Center had a chicken tortilla soup recipe that's what she.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Family too. I know, but she's also like a fifth generation Houstonian, so it's like,
of course, it's a Tex Mex recipe.
I know. I'll have to post it. Favorite place in Houston to take the kids?
Oh my gosh, you know where? Color Factory. That Color Factory is so fun, y'all. Have you ever been?
I have not, but my daughter went on a field trip last week there for yearbook, and she had a blast, and she's 14. And then I hear people who have younger kids who love it too. So it seems for the ages.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit pricey. Like it's a splurge to go, but it's so much fun. And like in every room, you have a QR code to get pictures. So like the whole family can get in the picture. Mom can be in the photo. That's awesome.
What a revelation that we would be a part of the family photo.
That we like going somewhere where we're going to be seen with our children.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're putting that on our list. Love the Color Factory. Favorite thing to do on your own time? This is just Haley time. This is Son's children. Son's work.
Okay, if I had a couple hours to myself, I would get my nails done and go to TJ Maxx. Those are my favorite things to do.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. Right? You can always find good stuff at TJ Maxx.
Probably while you're waiting in line at TJ Maxx, because they have all
totally
in the line. You're like, I didn't know I needed the scented candle, but I do, apparently.
This is all I need to shop.
That's awesome. What do you do for your nails? Are you a natural nails girl, or you like do gel, or what are we doing?
If I have time to go get them done, I'll do the dip. I love dip lasts a long time, but then I won't go back again. I go long periods of time between nails. I mean, I don't have a lot of time. You know how that is.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a commitment. Like I sat down yesterday and I was like, I can only give you 45 minutes. Like, so whatever you do in 45. But I'm getting better. Like, well,
yeah. No, but
I try to do it myself, but
yeah, but it's the truth. Like, I don't really have a lot of time. Like, this is pampering, but like speed it up. You know?
I want the expressway path to just getting the end feeling. Like I'm not one who loves, I appreciate the finished product.
Yeah.
I'm not one who
it looks great. I feel great, but I don't have 2 hours to spend here. I mean, same thing when we get our hair done. Like I know you go to the same girl that I do. I love sitting there and talking, but she knows I have you down for 1 hour and then I got somewhere to be. Yeah. You know?
I think that's why we use the same person, because she's very expedient and we never have to wait, and we're just in, out, and
oh my God. Lindsay, if you're listening, you're the best.
We love you, Lindsay.
We love you so much. How do I do it?
She's gonna love that. Okay, this is a very broad question. Okay. Favorite thing about being a mom?
This is an easy one though, because my favorite thing about being a mom is seeing myself reflected in them, seeing things that maybe I have badgered myself on, that, oh, I'm too this, I'm too that. My cheeks are too chubby. You know, I've got this weird thing with my teeth, and then I see it on them and I'm like, it's so precious and they're so perfect. And I don't know why I ever hated myself for this, like, and I love seeing that reflected in them. I love learning to parent myself and love myself through how much I love my kids.
Oh, see, you kind of made me teary there.
Aw.
No, I think that's really special. Like,
Yeah.
but
You've seen it too, right? Like we all see it in our kids, or something that maybe we were ridiculed on when we were little. Oh, you're too sensitive, you're too dramatic. And then I just see them and I'm like, no, they're perfect. And they have feelings, And so
yeah,
they're really
we
great.
have, I love that. And we have the perspective now to look back a handful of years later and be like, this is actually the best part of you.
Mhm.
Um, this is your superpower. And
Yeah.
I wish so much I would have seen it when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I'm
Because
glad.
that's what makes you you. I mean, there's nobody else like you in the world, and you were put here to be you, and we don't need to change that.
Oh, and I think that's where parenting is the most special and also the most difficult is I don't want to parent that out of them. You know what I mean? Like
Um,
there's a way to kind of move them in a direction, but at the same time, like it's what makes them uniquely you. So
yeah.
like, cultivating that whilst not breaking their spirit
Yes.
is
That's
a
why it's so challenging, because
yes.
sometimes they're very spirited too, which is also hard. But yeah,
I
just
mean,
guiding them in the right way and
yeah.
hoping they're going to be okay.
I think we all just lay our head on the pillow each night and just pray that we've done what we could that day.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't a great day, then we hopefully have a chance to try again tomorrow. And um, you know,
Hmm.
knowing hopefully that it all comes from good places and good parenting and all of that. So
Yeah.
we could talk for hours, I'm sure.
I
Um,
love it.
and I wish I could have you here for like hours. But I thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks so much. Thanks for letting me spill my heart out on being a mom.
No, I love it. And I love getting to see another side of you. And I think people really enjoy seeing that too, that, beyond, you are beyond the scope of KPRC, which is fabulous. But like there's an actual human and a mom
Yeah.
in there who does real, actual live human being things. And so we will pop a link below as to where you can catch Haley every morning as the health reporter for KPRC. And then she co-hosts KPRC Plus, which by the way, can you explain to people what the KPRC Plus is? Because I think it could
Yeah.
be a little confusing.
Okay, so KPRC2 Plus is our live stream where you can either download the app KPRC2 Plus to watch us. Like we have live stream going many hours of the day, almost 24 hours a day. But then you can also go to clicktohouston.com/watch live. And so the hours that I'm anchoring those is 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. So you can
Okay.
see me early in the morning.
Okay, perfect. So I kind of love the idea of KPRC 2 plus because if you missed it, the early morning
Yeah.
news, you can go in and like grab whatever you needed.
It's news when you want it. You don't have to like turn on the TV at a certain set hours. You can just tune
Yeah,
into the live stream, watch what you want for however long you have, and then turn it off.
perfect. And then we can catch our friend Jay on there giving his weather report and
Yes, Justin
all of that.
Stapleton. He's so funny.
So we have stories, but we
I
love
was
you.
sweet about it.
That's like an off-screen thing. No, I'm so thankful that this worked out, and I'm especially thankful that it worked out for Mental Health Awareness Month, and because it
Yes.
is something that you are so passionate about. It's Mother's Day is coming up, and so I hope you have the most amazing Mother's Day. Thank you all so much for listening and watching, interacting. Feel free to ask questions. And then we will be back next month with actually, next month is going to be Dads on the Move. Since it is Father's Day, we will have a dad on here that you will probably recognize. And we're going to celebrate dads next month. So Thank you again so much for listening and watching, and we will see you again next time.